Thank you very much, guys, for attending to Tropilunch today. I am Natalia Uribe Castaneda. I'm an interdisciplinary ecology PhD candidate, and I under the advice of Professor Martin Main. My research is focused on the strategies of community engagement used in coral reef restoration. I'm in the process of writing the dissertation. I have just finished my last fieldwork season, and that makes like whatever feedback that you can give me about how better explain the findings will be highly appreciated. I'm also going to be sharing these results soon on meeting for the socio-ecological restoration, the Society of Ecological Restoration. It's going to be in Darwin, Australia, and I will use your feedback to do a presentation there too. A little bit of what I'm going to share with you today is the justification of my research, the goals that I have, the research questions that I'm addressing, the methods that I'm using for it, and some of the preliminary results. As you probably know, or maybe if you have been in this presentation before, the coral reefs are declined dramatically. The coverage of the coral reefs, like worldwide, has been decreasing during the last 40 decades dramatically. In the Caribbean is the same. We have been lost more than the 80% of the surface of the coral reef coverage. And that has motivated many organizations around the world to conduct coral reef restoration. The most common type of restoration is active coral reef restoration, which is based on the capacity of the corals to propagate asexually. Then we literally grow them in nurseries, and then we plant them in areas where the corals are already decreasing. One of the strategies that these organizations are using is engage communities to maximize efforts and also to make those projects last more in time, to make the community get part of it and participate actively and make the community like feel engaged and develop and guide this type of project. I'm focused on this, and then my research goal is how assess the community-based coral reef restoration programs. I am doing it in two study cases, one in the Laughing Cay National Park in Belize and the one in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve in Colombia. And I'm identifying the strategies that they are using to engage communities. I have some small, like specific research objectives, which are identify the motivations, the barriers, and the engagement strategies to engage communities in coral reef restoration. And I am developing community engagement guidelines to address a suite of stakeholders and engage communities. I also have two outreach objectives. One is conduct workshops with partners organizations and local community members to identify community engagement strategies. And I am developing a science communication campaign to share the project activities and its results. My research questions are, first, something's happening. Okay. What are the strategies used to engage communities in restoration programs? Who are the target audiences that the research programs are engaging? What motivates community members to participate in coral reef conservation? And what are the barriers that community face that could hinder their participation? I am developing this research until the IRB approval, and this is the number. I'm conducting participant observation, which is join the different organizations on their activities and learning from them and see how is the relationship with the community and how the community, what are the activities that the community is developing. I'm conducting in each of the study case, 20 in-depth interviews one of the interviews is direct to restoration practitioners, and the other one is direct to key stakeholders. I'm doing this with my key stakeholders are professors, politicians, researchers, environmental educators, fishers, and Davy operators. I'm also conducting a SWOT analysis. We do a workshop, and then among the community members and the local organizations and environmental agencies, we identify the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and the threats of the project, and like mainly the community conversation about the project, and how is the process of engagement. I'm transcribing, translating, coding, and analyzing both the SWOT analysis and the interviews. And then once that I got the qualitative data, I developed some quantitative data by doing the surveys. I did a total of 120 surveys. In the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve in Colombia, the model is trained fishers as restoration technicians, and they are they go to the field with biologists, with one biology and like 20 fishers. They are funded mainly by Conservation International and the Environmental Ministry. The program started in 2017, and there is 3 organizations running it, 2 NGOs, Corales de Paz and Coralina, Blue Indigo Foundation, and the environmental agency, like the government organization, is Coralina. The Laughing Cay project, they, instead of being focused on fishers, they are focused on trained tour guides, and they are funded mainly by grants and donations, and the program started in 2006, and it's just one NGO running the program, which is Fragments of Hope. Some of the preliminary results from the interviews, like in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve, the main motivation for the community members to participate was conservation. The second one was vocation, and the third one was economy. The economy, they feel it like for both sides, because they work and they receive literally a economic incentive from participating of the project, but they also were mentioned the ecosystem services that the coral reefs provides and how that is linked with their economy. Regarding the Laughing Cay, the main focus for participating in the restoration programs was like to enhance the local economy and livelihoods, and the second one was conservation. Regarding the barriers that the community could face in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve, social dysfunctionality was the most mentioned one. They were identifying like corruption, certain like professional egos, and in general like ways like that to be a barrier for them to participate or to engage in the projects. The administration challenges such as lack of continuity, lack of funding were also mentioned, and the environmental threats, they were like kind of evenly mentioned. And they also mentioned that there was not enough opportunities for them to support or to participate in these activities. Regarding the Laughing Cay in Belize, the most important barrier that they mentioned was environmental threats. They were mentioned mainly the lack of enforcement as the major environmental threat. They have the same issue than in Colombia, the administration challenges and the social dysfunctionality. And also they mention a lack of opportunities to join the restoration programs or support them. When I asked to the interviewers what are the audiences that should be targeted, they mentioned in Colombia in the Seaflower Biosphere, fishers and divers, reef-related businesses, broad community, tourists, volunteers, and jobs. And in Belize, in the Laughing BK, they mentioned that the target audience should be focused first on jobs, volunteers, the business related with the reefs, and also a government what should be play a more important role on the restoration programs. And regarding the strategies to engage, build local capacity was the main strategy identified by restoration practitioners and key stakeholders to support participate on these programs. They also mention different strategies for planning and budgeting and the creation of new policies in Colombia and in Belize. They mention also the strength of the enforcement for the policies too. Okay. In like some of the aspects regarding the install local capacity that they mention is like the activities should be carried out by locals. Like it's not the same that a foreign came and do the activities, that when the activities are indeed guided and led by locals. They highlight the importance of have as a part of this local capacity building have formal certifications for the restoration technicians, and also use the trainer strategies. I bring a quote for you from the interviews, just for you to know. The pictures are not related at all with the comments. They are pictures of the interviews, but it's not like that person in the picture mentioned the comment. They like more when the talks are given by locals. When an outsider comes, the conception is, who are you to come in here and tell us about what we should do or not do? So when they say, see someone from the community, is much more powerful than an external foreigner. Okay. Regarding the strategy face-to-face outreach, the interviewers mentioned that face-to-face engagement is more effective than other forms of communication. For example, one of the practitioners mentioned when social media, you can reach more people, but it's not the same as a face-to-face engagement. You know, it's better to get the feel of your community when you're involved with the people. You can get their expression and truly understand how they feel. Regarding focus on youth, the interview considered that engaging and inspiring youth is an effective strategy for both educating parents and next generations to conserve the corals. For example, this practitioner told us after the field trip, the kid is so excited, and because the parents love their kid, they are going to listen more to their kid than they would to us, because they think that we are just trying to impose our way on them. And at the end, the strategies to engage and to build local capacity should also, according to the interviewees, use experiential learning. Then the interviews highlight experiential learning is an effective way of reaching children and adults. And they mention some examples like underwater photography courses, diving courses, using puzzles, drawing contents, and field trips. For example, this practitioner mentioned to us, I'm going to talk sincerely. When I joined the program, I was in environmental education, and that thought they gave to the children was almost boring. They repeated the same thing. They did not do it didactic, so I think it's a mistake. When you want to address young people and children, you have to do it in a way that is fun. And this is part of the survey results, 120 surveys. And then we can see how in the seaflower, in both of the marine protected areas, the community has a concern about the coral reefs. Also, they feel that they have a community responsibility to take care of the reefs. They also involve communities thinks that they also have a personal responsibility to protect the reefs. However, when we were asking them how do they feel in case that the coral reefs were decreased in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve, people will feel affected by the decrease of the coral reefs. However, in the Laughing Bird Cay in Colombia, in Belize, sorry, it was not as clear. They were more like, they were, for my understanding, they didn't completely understand how the livelihoods are connected with the health of the coral reefs. That's something that could be teach by environmental awareness campaigns or something like that. And when we were asking them if they consider that the current regulations were enough to protect the coral reefs, both in Colombia and in Belize, they were like, no, really, nor not enough, or not enough enforced. And when I asked them about their trust in the organizations running the conservation and restoration programs, they also have like kind of mixed feelings about it, and they are not completely agree or not completely disagree with them. Okay, I also have some preliminary results about the outreach campaign. I'm running this social media campaign. I have an outlet, it's called Ocean Guardians. I have one in Facebook and one on Instagram. I use mainly to share the activities of the project when we collaborate with the organizations, and also to show that's part of the workshop that we were doing in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve. And yeah, that's just show the activities and the results of the project. I also did the workshops, one in the Seaflower Biosphere Reserve and one in Belize, in the Laughing Bird Cay. And so far, my take-home message regarding develop a successful community program. First, we have to focus on install local capacity, develop formally certified restoration technicians, use train-the-trainer strategies, formally recognize the trainers, engage face-to-face, educate youth, and use experiential learning. The successful strategies mentioned by both stakeholders and restoration practitioners are based on building trust and relationships between the practitioners, the programs, and the communities. My next steps are finalize the data analysis and the writing, and start to develop the community engagement guidelines model. And I want to acknowledge my committee, Professor Martin Main, who is my advisor. He's advising me in everything regarding community engagement. Professor Nia Morales, she's advising me on social science research methods. Professor Joshua Patterson in everything regarding ecology and biology. And Professor Jamie Loiso, who is in charge of helping me with the science communication campaign. I want to acknowledge the funders of my research and my PhD, and also the organizations that I have been collaborating with. And these are the social media and my contact. And thank you.